Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg. Today, I'm going to be doing my life and channel updates with a 2024 reading plans. Let's go to it. Life updates. My life is going to change a little bit in 2024. My wife is retiring from her government job in June. She gets to retire and start drawing on her pension. That means all through the day, she's no longer in her office working. For the time I've been here in Virginia, throughout the week, she's always been working most of the week. But after June, she'll be retired like me. And who knows what trouble we will both get into when we're retired. I know my wife loves to play cards, especially this dreadful card game named Super Samba. There is a card game with the neighbors every Monday, but you need partners to play Super Samba. And I have a feeling she's going to be dragging me, kicking and screaming every Monday to these Super Samba games. I'm not really a card player. Don't really enjoy it that much. But you know the old saying, happy wife, happy life. So I might be playing cards 2 to 3 hours a week. And that's a lot of hours playing cards. Or we just may go on travel, because she has a lot of traveling plans. And some of those plans sound like a lot of fun. And that's really how my life is going to change in 2024. As for my channel updates, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but I have quietly monetized my channel in the beginning of December. I didn't really do this for the money. My wife and I are doing fine, even when she retires. Well, we won't need the extra money that this channel brings in. As of the end of December, I think I've earned $20. Really insignificant. But you know, YouTube was showing ads on my channel anyway, and they were taking everything. So now I'm going to take a little bit of that ad revenue for myself. Not a whole lot. I am not joining Patreon, and I'm not adding that little pay me now icon, simply because I really don't need the extra money. There are some booktubers out there who really do need the money. Last year we had Pax Panic, who had cancer. And my suggestion would be, if you want to donate to a channel, donate to a channel that really needs it right now. People like Pax. There'll be other people like her in 2024 that really do need the money more than I do. So I'm not doing the Patreon or the tipping. I'm just doing the ad revenue. And hopefully it's not too intrusive. If people do start noticing an ungainly amount of ads on my channel, drop me a message in the description, and I will consider just dropping out of that ad revenue and going back to Totally for me, not getting any monetization, but still, YouTube is going to be showing ads no matter what I do. And that really is the main updates to my life and channel. And now, for my 2024 reading plans. I've been making a list over the past few days, and you know, it's really rather extensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the multi-month events, and then I'll break it down into events that are happening month by month. Events that are happening basically all year, or most of the year, is the BookTube Prize. I have volunteered to be a judge in both nonfiction and fiction, and while it is possible I will not be accepted or picked as a judge for every round, because that is based on the number of people who volunteer to be a judge and how many judges they need. Not every volunteer gets picked for every round. But I think it's good bet, since I'm volunteered for nonfiction and fiction, that I will be picked for a few rounds. And I'll be reading a lot of books for the BookTube Prize. And I'm really looking forward to that. The other event that's taking place all year is 24 Banned Books in 24, where I'm going to be reading 24 banned books of any era at any time. If a book has been banned, it is legitimate query to read for this event. I am also joining Historathon 2024. This is broken up quarterly between January, March. We'll be doing prehistory to 500 CE. April to June is 500 to 1500. July, September is 1500 to 1820. And October to December is 1820 to present. I've already made an announcement video already, so if you're more interested in that, you can check out that my individual video on that event. I am also running with Alan the End of the World Book Club. This is a quarterly book club where we are reading dystopian and post-apocalyptic books. In the first quarter, we're going to be doing Children of Men by P.D. James. Second quarter is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And the third and fourth quarter have not been decided yet. I have my own individual project, which I am calling The Shores of Religion, where I'm going to be reading about Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. My idea is I'm going to be listening to the great courses, which have a very good high-level overview of that religion. Then I will be reading some holy scriptures which belong to the individual religion, and then picking out some fiction or maybe some autobiography about people who participate in that religion. I am almost done with Buddhism, and then I'll be moving on to Hinduism. This will take me about 6 months, I think. I have another event called All About Holly that I'm doing with Bad is Rad and some other great hosts. We are reading all 6 books by Stephen King, which feature the character Holly Cabney. We have just finished Mr. Mercedes, and January we start on Finders Keepers. I have the Kurt Vonnegut book group, again, which I run with Alan. It runs quarterly. We are doing first quarter, Cat's Cradle. Second quarter, God Bless You, Mrs. Rosewater. Third quarter, Slaughterhouse 5. And fourth quarter is probably going to be Slapstick. Another book we did a few years ago was Breakfast of Champions. We may reread that instead of Slapstick. Don't really know. There is the Gothic horror book group. We are doing The Great God Pan in January. And then February, The King in Yellow. I think that's all that we're doing. I think the group is winding down after that. Not positive, but those are the only 2 that are scheduled. And then another event that I'm doing for myself is I'm going to be reading the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer all through the year. And I am going to be listening to an audiobook of a modern translation and then reading the original Middle English in a book format. And that'll take me all year. And that is my multi-month events. And now let's break it down to month by month. In January 1st, I am doing a buddy read with MJ at Reading This Life. And we're going to be reading Voices of the City by Gareth Howels. Now, Gareth Howels is a booktuber. He does book songs and other magic. This is a short work of poetry. And I picked this because on January 1st of every year, I like to read at least one book, start to finish. And a short book of poetry fits that bill very nicely. Plus, we get to read a book by a fellow booktuber. January is also the Kindle Kobo Cleanout event, where we are reading books on our Kindle. I have an individual announcement video on that too. And one of the events is read a book by a booktuber. See previous book. I will be doing a buddy read with Bad is Rad and a few other booktubers, I think, and maybe some other guests of Johnny Got His Gun. This is a World War I novel about a severely wounded veteran, and it's Dalton Trumbo is the author. And I'm also going to join in the Boot Camp Readathon, created by Courtney at Tangible Reads, and she has a bunch of other co-hosts. I will leave a link so you can find the prompts. And those prompts fit nicely in with everything else that I'm reading, so I won't have any extra books that I have to read. And now for February. There is a new event for 2024. It will be with Jim at Mystery and Mayhem and a lot of other booktubers. We are tentatively calling this Holmes is Where the Heart Is, where we are going to be reading books by and about Sherlock, not by Sherlock Holmes, featuring Sherlock Holmes. We'll be reading a novel by Arthur Conan Doyle, some short stories by Arthur Conan Doyle, a pastiche about Sherlock Holmes, and a legacy, which is a character that was highly influenced from the stories. And that is the event. I am going to be doing a buddy read with Alan of Carpenter's Gothic by William Gaddis. This is probably his least known novel. It's also his shortest. And sometime in February, run by the evil mastermind Criminale, we are going to be having Garbaugust 2.5. I don't know what week they'll be running, other than it will be in February. March, of course, is March of the Mammoths, where people are going to be reading a book 800 pages or longer. I am going to be reading Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts as a buddy read with Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. I do believe March Mystery Madness is going to make an appearance, and I will be picking some books from March Mystery Madness. Fiber Artsy, Crystal, says she's going to be running Week of the Weird. This is just a week where people are encouraged to read weird and horror stories. In April, I am doing a buddy read with MJ, reading from Reading the Slice, From Hell by Alan Moore. MJ also says she's going to have an Agatha Christie week in April. I'll also be reading an Agatha Christie book in April. May, we have Horror Mayhem. This is the brainchild of the Bookish Bryants, and we're going to be reading horror stories throughout the month of May. There probably will be some prompts involved with this one. Also in May, this is a little more tentative because it's tied to an event that I don't think has been absolutely established yet. But I will be reading Gulag, A History by Anne Applebaum. This is a work of history about the gulags in the Soviet Union. And a little more about that later. In June, again with Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics, we are going to be doing a buddy read, and this will also move into July, but we're going to be doing Ulysses by James Joyce. And then, of course, there is Michael K. Vaughan's June on the Range. This will be my third year participating June on the Range, where people are encouraged to read Westerns. August. Well, of course, August there is Garbaugust. Well, you will have the return of another booby file, reads Playboy for the articles, where people are encouraged to read trashy fiction, or nonfiction, I guess. There is also Faulkner in August, which we will be reading As I Lay Dying, one of Faulkner's best books, and a really good introduction to Faulkner if you've never read him before. So if you wanted to try Faulkner, join us in August for Faulkner in August. Also involved with the project that I mentioned that may or may not happen is One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I'm not naming the project and who's going to be running it quite yet because it may not happen. But of course, this is a very famous book about life in a gulag, which relates to why I am reading the Gulag History by Anne Applebaum, because I want to really get an idea historically what a gulag is like before I reread this book. Now, this will be my third or fourth time reading this book by Solzhenitsyn, and it is a really good short novel. I highly recommend it. In September, there will be a new event hosted by Elizabeth at Bookins and Books and myself, and maybe a few others. It doesn't quite have a title yet, but is going to be an art readathon where people are encouraged to read books about art and maybe visit some art museums. October. There is, of course, Victober. I will probably be picking up a Victorian book to read in Victober. October. This is an event where we're going to be encouraging people to read short stories and poems by Edgar Allan Poe. October, second year coming, Occult Detective October. This was an event created by MJ at Reading This Life, where people are going to be reading books that feature detectives with occult settings. It was so much fun last year. Really great. So if you like mystery books and you like occult books, it's just a great combination that I'm missing out on. Okay. On to November. New Worlds November. Again, event created by the Bookish Bryants, where we are going to be encouraging people to read short science fiction works. There probably, again, will be prompts for you to follow or not follow. The second year coming of Dr. November, reading about espionage fiction or espionage nonfiction. Last year, or this year, I should say, 2023, we were focusing on the Cold War era. But next year, it is going to be completely open to any kind of espionage fiction or nonfiction. And of course, November is very highly known for Nonfiction November, where people are going to be encouraged to read works of nonfiction. A Book Olive runs that. She will almost certainly give us 4 words to interpret as we choose, as sort of a basis for picking some nonfiction works. Again, I'm really looking forward to that again. And then to end up in December, there's going to be Cthulhu Christmas, where we're going to be encouraging people to read short works of fiction by H.P. Lovecraft or any works of fiction about the Cthulhu mythos. Somewhere in those individual months, there's going to be another buddy read with Bad is Rad 2 and The Secret of Nim, and we are doing Human-Shaped Fiends by Chandler Morris. This is a horror splatter Western. The time has not been established yet for that one. Stay tuned. And that is all my plan for 2024. I think I missed some. There's a heck of a lot of plans here, and I still think I missed some. So, if you know that I've missed a plan, let me know so I can put it on my calendar to get that scheduled. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.